some, you lose some, and then there's Monday Night Raw.
50-50 booking?
Yeah.
There's some of that.
That's WWE.
Yeah, Raw's still building towards Extreme Rules. So, and plus they kind of had to change everything up because we found out that Braun Strowman is going to be out for potentially 6 months with a shattered elbow.
Came down with a bad case of people's tennis elbow.
Yeah. So they ended up having to change up a bunch of things that they were going to do, the directions things were going. So we'll just kind of go through stuff that didn't matter, then we'll get to our overarching storyline. We had Jeff Hardy defeat Sheamus with a twist of fate and a swanton, so they're pretty much just switching up how the matches went into Payback. So I'm sure next week, or potentially the week after, we'll get Matt versus Cesaro. Good match, kind of a wonky ending, but Jeff Hardy picked up the win. Alicia Fox got her return match against Sasha Banks after she had a shoulder up during the pinfall last week.
Yeah.
And beat Sasha clean.
That was a little surprising to me.
Yeah, there wasn't a wonky ending to like set up a third one. I'm glad they gave the win to Alicia because I think Foxy needs it. To really establish her back as a credible person on the women's roster.
Yeah, I was also kind of happy to see Noam Dar out there with her.
Yeah, Noam Dar playing the managerial role on Monday Night Raw, as opposed to what they usually do. Goldust ended the Golden Truth.
Yeah, this was the biggest, I think, sort of surprise. I mean, Goldust and R-Truth did like a little backstage segment together.
Yeah, they had one last week before the tag team turmoil happened, and they kind of reiterated what Truth has kind of been down on his luck, like
when Truth felt bad because he was the one that took the pinfall.
Yeah.
Last week, so he's just like, oh, sorry about the fact that I lost during the tag team turmoil last week, and Goldust's like, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. You know, when you fall down, you pick yourself back up. You've helped me out a lot. I'm going to help you out. Mm-hmm. I'm going to help you right out of this tag team.
Yep. Instead of helping him out, he knocked him down, or helping him up, he knocked him down. He just destroyed R-Truth for a good couple of minutes. Truth took a nasty spill out to the outside. And so now, hopefully a singles run for Goldust. Like, I don't know I'm sure he'll be, like, in the Intercontinental type of situation.
And I was curious, like, about the timing of this. Like, why now do this with the Golden Truth? Especially when the Raw tag team division seems to, like, start to, like, shrink a little bit with the fact, like, New Day's gone. You can't have the Revival because...
Yeah, Revival are out for a few more weeks.
They still don't do anything with the club.
To me, I think they got rid of the Golden Truth because they have Slater and Rhino. Slater and Rhino now have that... We were the weird throw-together team.
Yeah.
That's their niche area. And Golden Truth just... They ran their course really early on, and then Raw just kind of fucked their tag team division up. Yeah. So I don't think that... I think at this point there really wasn't any saving the team of the Golden Truth. But there's still potential in a Goldust singles run and potentially a singles run for R-Truth.
It hit me right after the segment ended.
Okay.
Like, why pick, like, specifically now to end it? And it has to do with Braun Strowman being injured. Braun Strowman was the guy they were pushing towards being Brock's next opponent.
Right.
Which means that we were going to have a ton of Braun-dom during, like, Raws and the pay-per-view and whatnot. And it was a little bit of potentially like, oh, let's throw together like a really cool main event for this pay-per-view. in order to make up for the fact that, like, you know, we need to figure out what we're going to do now that Braun is gone.
Yeah.
But they took their 5, like, top guys on the show and put them all into one match.
That's true. So
where they would have had, like, Bray versus Finn, and Seth versus Joe, and Braun versus Roman.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you have, instead of those 3 matches, you have the one number 1 contenders match.
Yeah.
With all 5 guys, sans Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
So now they're like, crap, how are we going to fill this pay-per-view? Potentially we're going to have Goldust versus R-Truth.
Probably a pre-show match. We also had another pseudo heel turn after Titus O'Neil.
Apollo Crews caught Hepatitis O'Neil.
Yeah. I really hope they're not trying to put them together as a tag team. I mean...
It's my least favorite segment of the whole show.
Yeah. Titus O'Neil neglected to notice that he was in the match and not Apollo Crews. He thought Crews was going against Enzo, and instead it was Titus O'Neil facing Big Cass. Big Cass, in less than 2 minutes, booted him in the face and won. And then while Cass was on the outside, Enzo picked up Titus's phone and was trying to take a selfie to add to Twitter, like we've been seeing the weird pictures that Titus has been posting of him and Apollo. Apollo kind of looked at him like, dude, don't do that. And Enzo's like, no, it's going to be funny. And then Apollo did a step-up enziguri and kicked Enzo in the head. So it wasn't like a full heel turn. It was more so like Apollo just telling Enzo to cut the shit. But it did come directly after the Goldust R-Truth segment.
So it was just it was kind of like a soured, like, immediately like, oh, again.
Yeah, another babyface turning heel.
Yeah, like another good guy who we like is attacking a different good guy that we also like. What?
So there might be another. There's a tag team match for Extreme Rules.
I don't know. I hope not. I hope either Enzo and Cass, like, snap Apollo Crews out of it and pull him away from Titus O'Neil.
That would be nice.
Or, you know, in a way, I think if they're going to keep going with what they call the Titus brand, he needs to grab more people.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I thought it was initially when he got Apollo and he was like trying to get a few other people. Yeah, it needs to be one or the other. It needs to be Apollo's gonna be with him for a couple weeks and then get pulled away, or yeah, he needs to grow the Titus brand.
Yeah.
So pick one. Stick with it. We had Alexa Bliss talking a bunch of trash about New Jersey and talking about how she
was talking a bunch of New Jersey.
Yeah. She was...
Calling you out, New Jersey.
Yeah. She was talking about how she is the goddess of WWE and how as soon as she came to Raw, she said she was going to do all these things, and she did. Bayley came out and said, well, guess what? I'm invoking my rematch for Extreme Rules, and Alexa's like, bitch, you can't get extreme.
And then she whacked her with a kendo stick.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Kurt Angle made a kendo stick on a pole match. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it's a stipulation, but compared to the other stipulations that the ladies have gotten, it's very lackluster.
Yeah, I mean...
I think just a straight-up Extreme Rules match would be...
Yeah, except I don't see him plugging that one twice, especially now that the main event of the pay-per-view is an Extreme Rules match with the 5 top singles wrestlers on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that's like... it's hard to describe. It's like, they want to do something original, but all the good shit's already gone because of, like, how much, like, the whole Charlotte Sasha
did ruin a lot of stuff.
Not in a bad way either, though. But it's just like they did the Falls Count Anywhere match. They did the Iron Man match. They did the Hell in a Cell. So now it's like when you say like, oh, the women are gonna have a stipulation match at Extreme Rules. What's it gonna be? And then if it's anything other than fucking like something super stellar, now we're all gonna be like, oh, that's...
Yeah, I mean, I think for Alexa especially, it just seems like a downgrade because she did the cage match with Becky.
Yeah.
And so now...
Well, it is Raw we're talking about.
That's true. So, I mean, we know that Nia Jax is getting involved because her whole shtick is trying to keep the title on Alexa. Which Nia wasn't on Raw tonight, but Alexa wasn't actually wrestling. So, yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But someone who was defending their championship was Dean Ambrose. He was defending against The Miz, who won the triple threat match against Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. Fantastic match between these guys. They've done it 100 times. Fluid as ever. Great chemistry still. And we had Maurice get involved a couple times. She tried to stop Dean Ambrose from doing the elbow off the top to the outside. He's like...
And Dean gave her a countdown. Get out of the way. I'm going.
Yeah, he was going to jump regardless. He gave her till 3, and she got the hell out of the way. But then she ended up trying to get involved again, where she was distracting the referee from making the pinfall. And as she was doing that, Miz tried to sneak up and hit a low blow on Dean Ambrose. And Dean saw it, grabbed the arm, turned around, stood him up, and then as the referee turned back around... He turned around just in time to see Dean Ambrose kick The Miz in the balls. So The Miz won by disqualification. Therefore, he was upset that he wasn't walking away champion. Went and talked to Kurt Angle. They're going to have another match at Extreme Rules, but we don't know what it's going to be yet.
Yeah. There's one thing about the whole shtick here that confused me.
What's that?
Miz has balls.
Maurice forgot to put them in her purse. That's what it was.
That's why we can't have nice things, Maurice.
So, yeah. They're going to have another match at Extreme Rules. We don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm sure we'll find out.
Mrs. Balls on a pole match.
Sure. We had a Cruiserweight tag team match where TJP and Neville defeated Austin Aries and Jack Gallagher. I mean, I'm kind of tired of seeing this. This is the Cruiserweight way of things.
Yep.
Like, for me, I'm excited to see Neville versus Aries 3 because they have fantastic matches. And we haven't seen them face each other 1,000 times. But I've seen Gallagher, and I've seen Neville, and I've seen Gallagher, and I've seen Perkins, and I've seen Perkins, and I've seen Aries, which we're going to get again on 205 Live tomorrow. I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, it's just falling into a pattern of...
I mean, you've got a roster of, like, less than 10 guys. So there's only so many combinations of people you can do.
Yeah, and it falls into a pattern that happens so often in WWE, you know, where it's like, one, they already treat the Cruiserweight division like the way the Divas division was treated, like, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you get, like, a match and you're lucky if it's more than 3 minutes. And then, you know, or they'll do, like, 2 matches... But if they don't have time to do 2 matches, you get like 1 tag team match instead.
The only difference is that the Cruiserweights have their own show, which only gets another 3 matches.
Yeah. But it's like this, and then it's like the same sort of thing that you get depending on like who the top people are on the brand, where it's like, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so are going to fight each other for like 3 pay-per-views straight. And so every person and thing are all going to be, you know, it's like every week it's Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins. And then next week it's Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. And then it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. And then the next week it's going to be Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens again. Like,
just for them to go back to their original. Yeah, it's.
And then they can go back. Then they can go to the pay-per-view and do the 2 singles matches again that started the whole thing.
Yeah. So now, after TJP defeated Jack Gallagher with the detonation kick on Raw, Neville now wants him to go to 205 Live and completely obliterate the knee of Austin Aries to make it easy for him to win at Extreme Rules. Now we get into our overarching storyline, where, due to the fact that Braun Strowman was technically the #1 contender, somehow because he said he was going to go after Roman Reigns, or after Brock Lesnar, we don't have a #1 contender. So, Kurt Angle has made a fatal 5-way. Kevin Owens favorite match.
Extreme Rules.
Yes, Extreme Rules fatal 5-way for the #1 contender spot to face Brock Lesnar at what is currently known as Great Balls of Fire.
Goodness gracious, what a name.
So, yeah. So Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns have all been placed into this match. We had all of them come out and kind of stake their claim as to why they should be the #1 contender, but Kurt Angle's like, no.
They kept interrupting each other.
Yeah. Roman was being a douche. Finn tried to shut him down. Then Joe came out. Then Bray came out. Then Seth came out, and then shit hit the fan. Everybody fought each other. Samoa Joe actually ended up getting his his knee tweaked by Seth Rollins. Therefore, he wasn't going to compete. So Kurt decides to make Bray versus Seth and Finn versus Roman.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I thought was interesting that I didn't realize is this is the first time we've seen Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt one-on-one.
Yeah. The only time they've ever faced each other was the Shield versus the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
That's impressive. But we had Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor first, which I get it. Okay, Roman Reigns is he's Roman Reigns. I get it, but you're
50-50 booking, because Finn won last time. Yay.
okay. Finn looked great though.
Yeah.
He hit the sling blade about 3 or 4 times. Tried to go up, hit the coup de grace, got shoved off the top, then hit with a spear, and Roman Reigns won clean. Then our main event, Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt, didn't go as long as I expected it to.
No.
They did some good stuff. They work well together, so I'd definitely like to see a run potentially between the two of them. But after some dives and some spots inside, it was a lot of outside stuff, and Seth was firmly in control, was beating down Bray Wyatt, and then all of a sudden from around the corner, Samoa Joe just fucking blasts Seth Rollins, and so Seth Rollins defeats Bray Wyatt by disqualification, which we're getting there was a lot of shifty things happening on this particular Monday Night Raw, which makes sense because they're going into Extreme Rules, so I kind of understand it. But yeah, so Joe gets a little bit of revenge for what happened earlier in the night.
He put Seth Rollins' knee in the Coquita clutch.
I don't think that's what happened. You
Then
can't.
Kurt Angle came out and booked Seth Rollins' knee on a pole match.
No.
No?
We're just gonna have everything on pole. Kendo sticks, Miz's balls, Seth's knee.
Yeah, didn't you realize this new pay-per-view that's coming out is Extreme Rules on a pole match?
Oh Jesus!
The pay-per-view.
Let's not do that. So we ended up getting a 2-on-1 beatdown. Bray and Joe kind of worked together to just pretty much destroy Seth Rollins. Bray actually backing Joe off, like, hey, you know, we did good now, you know, give me a second here. Joe tries to push around Bray Wyatt, and that was a problem for Bray Wyatt, who then hit Samoa Joe with the Sister Abigail, and Bray Wyatt is left standing tall on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
So.
Do you hear 205 Live's probably getting a pay-per-view?
Really?
It's going to be 3 hours long of nothing but House of Horrors matches.
Makes sense.
It's called Neighborhood of Horror.
The 205 block. 205 block of horror. That was Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it was.
This has been the Raw Review.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Click the links. Check out the podcast. Check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
Well, that's reasonable with the W.
Like wrestling. We've got a lot of stuff happening this week. We've got. You'll want to stay here because there will be so many fucking videos. NXT predictions will be included with NXT, so you'll be able to get those podcast style. But you'll only be able to check out the video form of our Backlash predictions, which totally forgot that was happening this week. And also, apparently on Friday, we're getting the first episode of the UK Championship show. So we'll be reviewing that as well. That won't be in podcast form. You want to stay here for that. So,
there you go.
Holy shit. Lots of stuff happening. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you at whatever video, because there's a lot of them, that you decide to watch next.
Fuck Titus O'Neil.
Fuck 50-50 booking. Bye, guys.